specifically, I mean, right now there's kind of like it's a hot topic, and it's one that it's worth being concerned about, and which is the whole Balenciaga fiasco.
Yep.
So why don't you, for those who for some reason don't know what's going on, why don't you just refresh people on what exactly that is?
Well, with the Balenciaga, that is a clothing company, I believe. I don't honestly know much about them
Yeah.
before this whole drama, but I think it's a very high-end clothing company. I know Kim and Kanye are very involved. And they're, from my understanding, their winter release had all these teddy bears in like BDSM gear and children and various other things, including books with names on them of people who are, child abusers and different, very, very, very weird, different things. That's kind of it in a nutshell. And so people have been very upset because it's just trying to normalize child trafficking, just sexualizing children, and all of these things that we're seeing this shift. And I think I was mentioning to you backstage, the problem is these children who are models, and modeling oftentimes, especially as children and adults, crosses into acting. So that's how I got into acting, was by modeling. So it's kind of it's all the same. It's the same industry. You work around the same people, the same people. It's very, very similar. And so it all kind of stems from the same problem and the same issue, which is just the sexualization of children. And unfortunately, it's a huge issue that is just now coming to light. But with the Balenciaga, it's been nice to see people upset about it. But then I know I've been tuning into who you don't hear talk about it and who you don't hear say anything.
Which is a lot.
Which is a lot of people. And
Yeah.
it's really surprising to me because it shouldn't be controversial. Like, this topic shouldn't be left, right. It's not political. This is about our children. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to fathom not speaking up about it. And I know I posted about it even just on my Instagram, and I got so many people writing me saying I was the first celebrity they had seen to post something about it.
Well, and I saw somebody pointed out that this isn't a lack of awareness, because everyone's also very aware of some of the things that Kanye is saying right now. And Adidas, who was a sponsor of his, dropped him within 48 hours of him saying some of the things that he said. So this isn't an issue they're very well connected. Like, word travels fast. Even if you're not in the industry, word travels fast. Like, even when I lived in LA, word travels fast,
So fast.
And so, because everybody's gossiping, it's like everyone just comes up to you and says stuff, and you're like, I didn't ask you, but why are you telling me this? Yeah. So
yeah, it travels fast, and it is a huge issue. And I don't want to act like that's not a huge issue, but it's just the tip of the issue. Like, if you think Balenciaga is the only place that's going on, it's not. And that's the unfortunate part. And that's the bigger conversation, that now that people are starting to try to talk about it, and I have seen it on a little bit of news outlets are kind of covering the story. What needs to be talked about is yes, shame on Balenciaga, obviously. Like, there's so many satanic ties even in that it's just, I mean, we could talk for hours just on that specifically, because it's so satanic and it's so sad. But that's not it. There's so many instances, and right now even there's kids coming out that are now adults. They're not, I say kids, they're not kids anymore, but are now adults, like, who worked on Nickelodeon, that are coming out. I know Alexa Nichols is really talking about Dan Schneider and what happened, and her experiences there, and then other people that she's experienced in the music industry, and there's just, it's just rampant, really, honestly. And I think we touched on it just a little bit last time, but it is really, really, you get to know people in such a intimate way as an actor, because you're on set with them for so long. And whether you're 5 or 25 or 15, these people become your family. And that's almost, if people want to push that boundary, you don't know, you're not equipped well enough to be like, oh, okay, this hit an awkward turn, especially if you're a kid. And it happens all the time. And that's what's so sad, is that it really is such a easy place for kids to be targets.